I just watched the first trailer for Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man that will release on January 29th, and I have two major things I need to say about this trailer that are both negative in my honest opinion. And the first thing I will get out of the way at first is that the animation is butt, in my honest opinion. The animation is not good. We're in 2024, nearing 2025, and this will release in 2025. I can see that they're trying to go for a more comic book route. I can see that they're trying to basically make their animation be inspired by the comics, but in my honest opinion, it's not translating well, and it just looks like it's an unfinished show, to be honest with you. Like, when you look at the scenes, when you look at the pictures or the videos of the trailer, the animation looks cheap, it looks unfinished, and it looks rushed. But now that I got that out of the way, I'm gonna tell you the second reason why I do not like this trailer, and this might make me not like the show, and that is because they made Norman Osborn black. And I know what you guys are about to say. Making Norman Osborn black does not affect his character at all. Yes, that's true, because the original Norman Osborn's character is not based upon his race. But the reason why I'm talking about this right now, and the reason why it's my second negative, is because I'm seeing a trend that not only Marvel has been doing, even DC has been doing, but Hollywood as a whole has been doing, and that is unnecessarily race swapping characters just for the sake of it. And I'm even seeing this weird trend that they're actually really race swapping gingers. Mostly every single ginger character has been race swapped, and it is crazy. From characters like Daphne, she got race swapped. Even Jimmy Olsen in DC and Supergirl, he got race swapped as well, and that Jimmy Olsen, in my honest opinion, was hot garbage. Heimdall got race swapped. Starfire got race swapped. Wally West even got race swapped in the actual mainline comics when DC tried to replace the original white Wally West for a black Wallace West, but that Wallace West completely flopped, which they now had to make Wally West make a return. And ever since then, Wallace West has never really been in any major story or any major event because of that. And that's just the saying, is that why is Hollywood just constantly race swapping characters? Even the canceled Batgirl movie, we were about to see a race swapped Barbara Gordon. Now, on the other side of this argument, there are really great race swaps that do not affect the fact that they race swapped the character from white to black. And these type of characters are Nick Fury in the MCU and Commissioner Gordon in the Batman series. There are some other type of characters that were race swapped, and I don't really care because it didn't affect the story. And by Hollywood constantly race swapping already established white characters and making them black, it just proves that Hollywood has no faith in black people as a whole. Hollywood would rather give us leftover characters instead of creating new black characters or using actual established lesser known black characters. They would really just want to give us scraps. They would just want to give us leftovers that were already white characters. And as a black man, that pisses me off, because I want to see new black characters. I want to see new lesser known characters, and to see these characters be pushed into the mainstream instead of seeing white characters turn black. I'm just making this point. I'm just trying to say this point because we are seeing this constantly happen recently, and now Norman Osborn is another victim of this race swapping. And to be honest with you, I think it's lazy. I think it's uncreative. I think that they're just doing it for the sake of doing it instead of actually creating new characters, instead of actually creating new stories, or using actual existing characters and putting them in that slot that they actually should be. Because Tombstone, we have seen him as a villain ever since he debuted in Marvel, and Tombstone, in my honest opinion, is such a great villain. Now you're probably asking yourself, wait, this character you're showing us on screen, he's white. Well, Tombstone is albino African American. He is a black man at the end of the day. And every time Tombstone has appeared, whether it's in the comics or it's in Spectacular Spider-Man, or even as recently as the Spider-Man PS4 franchise, Tombstone, in my honest opinion, he plays a great villain that Marvel will never utilize. I've never really seen a big event story for Spider-Man where Tombstone is the main antagonist and Tombstone is actually being a big threat. But instead of using Tombstone, Marvel chose to make Norman Osborn black, and I really do believe that they actually should have replaced making Norman Osborn black for Tombstone, because I think it will be creative to seeing Tombstone for the first time since his debut be a main antagonist for a Spider-Man TV show or movie or project. We have not seen that yet, and I think that this could have been the opportunity of showcasing a lesser known character like Tombstone and basically having him take that place, having him show that he can be a very threatening and a very dangerous and cunning villain that he is in the comics. And the other character that they should have replaced Norman Osborn being black is Prowler. Now you're probably wondering, wait, isn't Prowler Miles Morales' uncle? Well, yeah, that is Aaron Davis's Prowler from the 1610 Ultimate Universe that was kind of synergized with the 616 universe, and that was more amplified by the Spider-Verse movie franchises where we saw Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse, both movies being peak, both movies being 10 out of 10 in my honest opinion. So they shouldn't have used Aaron Davis's Prowler, but a lot of people probably don't know is that there was already a Prowler before that, and that Prowler was Hobie Brown. And Hobie Brown, he already debuted since 1969. Hobie Brown is an original villain from the early golden age of Marvel. Why didn't they use a character like Hobie Brown's Prowler? Even though now Prowler has changed his character, Prowler has changed his identity, and he has changed his persona to be the Hornet. But they, in my honest opinion, could have used Prowler for this role because Prowler is a villain and Prowler is black, and Prowler is an original Marvel villain that Stan Lee himself probably contributed to make. And speaking of Stan Lee, I'll be honest, I don't think Stan Lee would agree with what Marvel is doing. You're probably wondering, wait, why would you think that Stan Lee would hate Marvel race swapping characters? Don't you think that Stan Lee would love it because Stan Lee, he was such a progressive figure, he was such a great person? Well, yes, that is true, but also this quote that Stan Lee said a while back, he said, "I wouldn't mind if Peter Parker had originally been black, a Latino, an Indian, or anything else, that he stayed that way, but we originally made him white. I don't see any reason to change that. It has nothing to do with being anti-gay or anti-black or anti-Latino or anything like that. Latino characters should stay Latino. The Black Panther should certainly not be Swiss. I just see no reason to change that which has already been established when it's so easy to add new characters. I say create new characters the way you want to." And I completely agree with Stan Lee. As a black man, I really want to see new creative black characters that can actually be showcased. Or if they're not new black characters, use lesser known black characters, use more obscure black characters that people don't know, that people wouldn't really care to even delve into their stories, that people wouldn't care to dip their toes into their comics. Why can't Marvel just use lesser known black characters and put them on the pedestal, put them on the spotlight as the same as Norman Osborn? They should have used Tombstone. They should have used Hobie Brown's Prowler. Hell, if you want to be stupid, they could have even used Aaron Davis's Prowler if they would probably add Miles Morales into the show. So seeing that, looking at that, that is inside this trailer, I'm going to say this right now, I do not like how this trailer is looking because the animation is bad, and this nonsensical and unnecessary race swap of Norman Osborn. And the main reason why I don't like Norman Osborn being black is because the real Norman Osborn is a deadbeat dad that hates his son. The real Norman Osborn, time and again, has made sure that Harry knows that Norman hates him. He made sure that Harry will always know that he will be neglected. Even though Norman Osborn has so much money and he has given Harry Osborn endless amounts of cash and wealth and prosperity, Norman Osborn, the real feelings he has towards Harry is that he hates Harry's guts because he's not as smart as Peter Parker. He's more interested in Peter Parker than his own son. So to make Norman Osborn black is actually a slap to the face of black people, because we all know the stereotype of black people having deadbeat dads that neglect their kids. So why would they make someone who is a legendary deadbeat like Norman Osborn be black? It's idiotic in my honest opinion. And this, in my honest opinion, man, it kind of pissed me off, man. I wanted to see a new character or a lesser known character be in this position. And if you're going to use Norman Osborn, keep him white. There was no reason of making him black. And I don't know, man. We'll have to see how the show is. But that's the end of the video. I'm out. Peace.